Okay, are we live? Okay. I think we're live. I hope so. Say something in the chat if you can see me and hear me. Hopefully that's the case. Just want to make sure everybody is getting a chance to come on. If there is anybody in the chat, please do just say hi or something. I do apologize if I'm just not seeing stuff because this is actually my very first time doing one of these live chats, live discussions on YouTube. Never used the live function before, but you got to start at some point, right? So hopefully you guys do see me. And maybe just nobody's come online yet. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see if there is anybody. I'll actually go onto my phone and see if there's anybody on, because I'm not seeing anything happen so far. Anybody in the chat can say hi if they are online at this point. Hopefully there's some people. I'll let people get on before we start here. And I'll just make sure everybody knows that we have actually now started the live stream. But do say hi in the chat if you are there. And let me know if I sound okay. So, yeah. Let's see if anybody can say something in the chat. I would like to. There we go. Here we go. Matthew Flower. Hello. Hope everyone is doing well. Great. Thank you, Matthew. How do I sound? Do I sound okay? Susie Lopez. Hi. Yay. We're starting to get some people. Great. Do I sound okay, guys? Just let me know if I sound okay, Matthew or Susie. Hopefully some more people join here in a bit. Sounds all good? Matthew says, sounds all good. Just let you guys know how this is going to work. Who knows how long this can go on? We'll play it by ear, but I want to give you guys a chance to discuss the film with me. We can talk about pretty much anything. You can ask me some questions, so we'll do like questions throughout this discussion as well. Yeah. I'm going to just sort of go through where we're at right now in the campaign. We're about halfway through the campaign, so I just want to let you guys know where we are, what we can do with where we are, and also what is coming up, because we do have some pretty exciting stuff coming up. Sounds good? So feel free to put in all your comments that you want, any questions you want, anything, pretty much anything. We can talk about stuff outside of the film if you guys want. So there you go. I also want to thank all the people that have supported us so far, whether you have backed us or just been sharing. There has been a lot of sharing going on, because I do know that it's tough times for people and not everybody can back, and that's the way it is, and I totally understand that. So and if things do change, hey, $5 gets your name in the credits. That's a cup of coffee. So that would be great. If at some point that changes. Our campaign goes till the end of October. I believe it ends on October 28th, if I'm not mistaken. I will double check that. And, sometimes they do allow an extra day or something like that, I think. So it could go to the 29th. Susie Lopez says, you look so awesome. Well, thank you. Do I look good for a 40-year-old man? Yes, I am 40 now. It was a big birthday this year. My wife took me fishing, sea fishing for my birthday. That was one of the funnest experiences I've ever had. So there you go. Thank you, Susie. Thank you so much. And thank you, Matt. Hopefully there's some other people joining the chat. Matthew just chatted as well. Can't wait for the film. Big fan of the franchise. Good luck with it. From England. Matthew's from England. Can't wait to see my name in the credits. There you go. Hey, anybody who does get any perks, I should mention, gets their name in the credits. That comes with every single perk in the campaign. So just keep that in mind, It's something attached to every perk. And some of the other more expensive perks I know also include the digital download package, okay? Good stuff. So we're going to talk about where we're at right now. We're almost halfway through our campaign. If you're just joining us now, if there's any new people just joining us, just say hello. Say hi. Susie says, can't wait for the film. Yay. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. I think it's going to be really good, especially if we can really make it the way we want to make it. And there's a lot of cool stuff that we really want to do. But we're about halfway through our campaign, almost halfway through the campaign right now. And we've just raised enough to make a film, but at our lowest possible quality. So I just want you guys to keep that in mind. We can make a film, but there's going to be a lot of sacrifices made if we stay where we are right now. And that's with me also putting my own money into the campaign. Susie says, you're welcome, my friend. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hopefully there's more people joining this chat. I sent out quite the invite, so hopefully there'll be a few more people. But hey, if it's just Susie and Matthew, I'm okay with that. And but if you are joining the chat, please say something. Say hi. Just say hi. Give me a wave. Give me one of those wave emojis. I love those. Yeah. So what was I talking about again? Where we are now? So we've raised, I think, just over 2K American dollars, which is getting close to 3K Canadian, and that is very good. I'm happy that we have support behind this film, but again, we do need. I would like to raise more just so that at least I can pay my cast and crew. That's sort of next on the list. As far as what money will go into is making sure that the cast and crew are well taken care of. I feel very honored that there are so many people willing to do so much to just get this film made, and it helps me know for sure that I do have the right cast and the right crew attached to this film. But even though that's really great of all of them, I think they deserve to get something out of it, even if it's just a little bit. So, I mean, if we raised another $1,000 before this campaign ends, which should be easy, that should be a very bare minimum goal to raise another $1,000. Then I at least can give them something, and that would be great. Susie, you're from Texas, eh? There you go. Keep it. Oh, since you're from Texas, I should let you know we've updated one of our perks to be in the film. So as you may have noticed before, if you haven't checked out our campaign lately, we have the perk to be in the film, and it's an expensive perk at $2,500. Now, the reason why it was that expensive is because we're going to be paying for flight and accommodations. For somebody like Susie, though, who lives in Texas, they might not need that flight and accommodations, right? So we did an updated version of that perk. Still, both versions are on the campaign, but for a much cheaper price. If you take care of your own flight and accommodations, you can be in the film for 500 Canadian, which is just under 400 American. So that's a pretty cool addition that we've actually added to the campaign. Make sure to go check that out. We haven't sold any of those ones yet, so there is some spots. They're just extras, but maybe you'll get killed by Leatherface. Maybe. Very probable. Or maybe not. You might get the choice. Maybe you'll get the choice of having a line in the film or getting killed by Leatherface. We'll leave that option open. It would be one or the other. And so we've made that a little bit more affordable for people that may be from Texas themselves, or close enough that it would cost less for them to take care of their own travel expenses. So yeah, I wanted to accommodate that. Somebody had actually mentioned me about that, had messaged me about that. I get messages from people all the time, and when certain requests like that make sense, I definitely always try to accommodate. Um, yeah, and you can expect to see some other perk updates before the campaign ends for sure. At least one more. There's one more we're thinking of adding. One more perk we're thinking of adding. So definitely, definitely go keep up on the campaign, especially if you haven't actually backed it yet. We're always adding new stuff, and always feel free to message me. Just send me a message. I'm available. I'm very available on Messenger on Facebook. So if you haven't friended me on Facebook, feel free to send me a friend request. I'm pretty open to fans, especially Steve Merlo. Pretty easy to find. You'll recognize this face, I think. Hey, Scotty Parkin, our Leatherface. Leatherface is here. Thank you for joining the chat there, Scotty. Feel free to ask me anything too, because I'm sure you still have questions about the script. He finally read the full script. The full script not too long ago. Thank you for finally finishing it. But he hadn't read the ending, although I had kind of told him what the ending was. So it was, he kind of knew, but actually reading it for yourself, I think, was a much more needed experience for you. Yes, exactly. So there you go. So we're about halfway through the campaign. Again, we can feasibly make a film with what we've raised, but I want you guys to let you guys know what we would do with money going forward. Okay, so at least the next $1,000 would go into paying the cast and crew, who definitely deserve it, possibly even more. Then money after that would go into special effects. Because we have a kind of a bare base minimum for special effects, and we have to make, since one person ordered this screen used mask, we definitely have to make some good masks. They have, because they're high priced, and Scotty is going to be signing those as well, which is pretty cool. Matthew Flower says, Scott seems like such a nice guy when he's not dressed as Leatherface from the last stream. Yes, he is a very nice guy. And Scotty says, I try. Yes, I know. You are a nice guy, Scotty. You're probably really the opposite of Leatherface, but, you definitely fit the part very well. So we're happy to have you as Leatherface, that's for sure. So anyways, yeah. So the next, couple $1,000 are going to go into paying the cast and crew and special effects. And then after that, we'll start looking at better props. For example, the chainsaw that we used in the trailer. It's okay. It doesn't fit the time period though. It's not old enough. It's an older chainsaw. I think it was a 70s or 80s chainsaw that we used, and it looks pretty run down and stuff. But our film takes place in the 60s, okay? So you got to keep that kind of thing in mind. I really want a 50s chainsaw. I'm looking at, there's a picture of one 50s chainsaw online. In fact, I put it in the thumbnail of this video. And I think it's so right. If I can get that chainsaw, if we can put money into stuff like that, it's going to make a massive difference in the overall film. And then older vehicles too. Like, it's okay if we have somebody who's got like an 80s truck and it looks run down, and maybe it kind of looks like the time period, but it's not really from that time period. So those are the types of things I really want to get to, that point where we can at least be able to afford all those things. Because to me, it's important. It's production value. It's about getting that production value across as good as we possibly can. Scotty says, I'll even put them on first. Well, you have to put them. Oh, you mean the replicas, probably. We have both replicas and screen use masks available on the campaign. Just keep that in mind. The replicas are much cheaper. They're around $300 US, if I'm not mistaken. Around there. 400 Canadian. So, not the best at doing the conversion, but roughly 300. It might be even a tad under 300. It's in there somewhere. If anybody that can do that conversion, feel free to post it in the comments. Yeah, so production value is going to be kind of important. There is definitely things we can get away with, and you never know. We could get lucky on stuff like vehicles. We could. There could be somebody living down the street from me who's got like a 1950s vehicle in good shape that would work. But we need 5 vehicles for this movie. That's a few vehicles that we need for sure. We need them. We need to have those vehicles. The story won't quite make sense without them. Could we write any of them out of the movie? Possibly, but I'd rather not. And I think it's important. It's just one of those things I think is important. At least if we can get to that point where we can afford those vehicles, and it's not cheap. Some of that stuff is not cheap. I'm usually pretty good at getting deals on that kind of stuff, but it's not cheap, and you just never know. I usually can get deals, but not all the time. So. I do have some connections, though. I do have some car connections. So again, it's something we can look at. Matthew Flower says, if you want to film in London, you can borrow my car. What year is your car there, Matthew? Does it predate 1965? Not answering yet, or maybe it's behind. I don't know. I think the latency is a little behind. I might have to check that out. Again, this is my very first time using a YouTube live stream. So there might be better ways to do the latency. I'm not sure. Trial and error. 2007. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that'll work. I wouldn't feel comfortable using anything. I mean, I don't feel comfortable using anything that doesn't predate it, but you could probably get away with some 80s vehicles or some 70s vehicles. You could. But let's hope it doesn't come to that, basically. I'm just going to share this link so we can hopefully get some more people on. Not that talking to you three is bad, but it'd be great to have more. So invite all your friends. Tell them to get on this thing. Tell them to get on, because we're here now and we want to get some people chatting with us right now. But thank you guys for attending. And again, thanks again to all our backers and supporters. I say backers and supporters because I know that there are some people that just don't have the financial means to back right now. And, I totally understand. These are tough times we're living in, guys. It's actually probably amazing that we've gotten the amount of support that we do. But we got it. We do have some support, and it really just shows me that there is some fans there for sure. Susie Lopez, I'm 20 years old and graduate of high school. That's nice. I remember being 20. That was 20 years ago. That was a long time ago. It feels like yesterday, though. Susie, it goes by quick. It really does. I can't tell you how fast it goes by. So embrace it. I really do feel like I was 20 just yesterday. But I have no problem being 40. I have a wonderful family, lovely 3-year-old daughter. And I love them to death. And by the way, if anybody hasn't noticed, my 3-year-old daughter is in the trailer. We've talked about this a little bit before, but you guys might not have been part of those conversations. I'm not sure. But it's a little bit of an Easter egg. And somebody actually called me on it. Somebody who chatted on. I did a Facebook Live, I think, when I first started the campaign, and somebody in the chat said, "Is that a baby I hear screaming at the end of the trailer?" You would be right. There is a baby screaming at the end of the trailer. Why is there a baby screaming at the end of the trailer, though? Did I just do that for shits and giggles? Or is there an actual reason? I'll let you guys see if you can figure that out. I love hearing theories. So if you guys have any theories as to why I have a baby screaming in the trailer, feel free to post them. Yeah, feel free to post them, because I'm not going to tell you whether any of them are right or not, but I like hearing the theories. Scotty P, thank you. The fact you are here is amazing. Exactly. Thank you, Scotty. So going forward, so this is where we are right now. Going forward, I would like to at least double this campaign before we hit its end. We've had a little bit of a lull over the past few days. We've had a few backers here and there, but nothing huge. But I think we totally can get more backers, probably even a lot more. I'd like to hit 10K at least before we end this campaign, because going forward, we still have a lot of time before we're actually filming. So I can tell you we will probably most likely do another Indiegogo campaign in the spring. Okay? This is just some of the news going forward. We're looking at definitely doing another one going forward. Wow, thank you, Susie. We'll do another campaign in the spring. This was a good campaign. It was a good trial and error. Obviously, it hasn't been quite as successful as I would like it to be, but it's at the point though where we can say, hey, we know we're going to get this film made now. We do know that we will get the film made, and that is exciting to us. It's just at what level are we going to get it made? And I think we definitely we want to shoot it in Texas. Just keep that in mind. We can shoot the film at a pretty good production level here for like 10 to 15K. I know I can do it. And it'll be okay. We won't have the best camera gear, and we won't have like the biggest production sound. But I'm a pretty decent sound guy that I can make that work, in the end, sort of thing. So, and to be honest, for a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film, you don't need a red. You don't need one of those red cameras. You don't need an Arri Alexa. It's just not absolutely necessary. I mean, if I can, I will. But that's going to take a huge budget. Those are the things that are at the end of my production budget. Those are the last types of things I'm going to pay for, is the best camera. My birthday was in July 12th. That's 12 days after my birthday, Susie. I'm June 30th, one day before Canada Day. That's when I turned 40. Ugh, don't remind me. Thank you, Susie, for sending that in. Yes. That's great. 20 years old. Man, I miss those days. I really do. Yes. What was I talking about again? I got off track again. We start talking about birthdays and I get off track. Yes, the road to Texas. It's going to take probably 25K to get to Texas. Again, we have lots of time. So, when I say we're going to do another campaign in the spring, we're probably going to do a bit of a pre-campaign as well before then, just to see if we can get more funds raised before then, and then add them to the campaign as we go along. And that's great. Anything that you can do like that is going to really help. Matthew, you're 23. Geez, I thought honestly, I thought that I honestly thought that my biggest supporters were like in their 50s, which who knows? You guys are only two young people. Scotty P, I know you're a little bit older than 23 though, right? You're not as old as me, I don't think though, but you are a little bit older. Yet you're playing a younger Leatherface. Texas of Bust. What does that mean? Texas of Bust? Yeah, that's what it says. Tell me what that means, Scotty. But yeah, I think there's no reason why we can't get to Texas and hit a good 25K mark. It's very, very, very possible. Very, very possible. And that's given the fact that I have made connections in Texas and can probably save about 10K of budget. But it's still going to need about it's going to need about 25K to get to Texas, because Texas or bust. Oh, that's what he meant to say. Texas or bust. Well, no, we're not going to bust it if we can't shoot in Texas. At the end of the day, people want a movie. Are you going to get a killer 60s soundtrack? You know what, Matthew? I should answer that. Because we probably can't. Because we won't be able to afford the licensing for it. Licensing music is incredibly expensive. So unless you want to donate $100K, because that's around about where the amount of money we would need for a killer 60s soundtrack, getting stuff like the Beach Boys and the Beatles and all that kind of stuff in there. Simon and Garfunkel. I would love to put some of that music in the film, but super expensive. I learned that the hard way. That was the second film I ever made. Was a film that actually had music performed in the film, had songs performed in the film, and I had no idea that it was that expensive. I had no idea. I made a big mistake. I had to do unfortunately, that whole movie is kind of a bust now because of that. Mostly because of that. We did re-edit it so that we could put my own original songs in its place, but it's really not. That's fair. I know the Beatles songs are some of the most. Oh yeah, the Beatles would be. I probably need to raise a couple $1 million just to be able to afford that. 1.9 million would go straight to paying the Beatles for their music in our film. Yeah, it is what it is, and I kind of wish I could. I kind of wish I didn't make that mistake with my other film, but I did. And lesson learned, and you have to learn from those lessons. You have to make the mistakes to learn from them. Is how it goes, and I think I made that mistake and I learned from it. But yeah, I wish I could. Will any of my songs appear in the film? Probably not. It's really going to be more about creepy, atmospheric music, I think. And I'm probably going to do most of it. Though I am willing to work with other composers because, you know what? Getting the music right for a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film is not easy. I had a hard time getting the trailer music, in fact, because I did compose the trailer music, and it's one of those things. It never feels quite right. It's even now listening to it, I'm like, it's mostly feels good, but there's still a little bit something that just doesn't feel like it. And I don't want to rip off the old school music from the original film. That was really just a bunch of noises put together that they were able to record, like banging bones and stuff against against cans and stuff. It was it was creative, but I want to be creative like that. I want to do some stuff like that with the music, where we're experimenting, with maybe hitting empty propane tanks with I don't know, aluminum cans or something like that, just to see what different sounds we can make. And I still want it to be a little bit musical though too, and not just percussive and a bunch of random stuff put together. But I'll make it my own for sure. It's definitely harder than you think it's going to be to compose a Texas Chainsaw Massacre soundtrack, but I'm up to the challenge. We'll have some time in post for sure. Scotty P, you're going to be 39 in December. So you're just a year and a half younger than me. You're not too far from 40 there, boy. And yet you're playing a younger Leatherface. Well, nobody will know. Nobody will know because your face will be covered up, right? Yeah, there you go. So that's the issue with the music. I'm glad you guys understand that. We're not a big studio. We can't afford that kind of thing. At least the music that you do hear in the movie will be consistent with the time period we've taken place, that our film takes place. I don't know if you guys knew this, but with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. You hear Sweet Home Alabama play at the, in the intro there. That was probably the first bit that kind of threw me off. I'm like, I thought this song came out in like 74 rather than 73. And it did. I checked it out after. They were a year early on that song. When your movie takes place in 73 and you've got a song that wasn't released till 74 playing, doesn't quite fit, does it? But, that's one of the least mistakes they made in that film. There's a lot of continuity stuff that kind of bugs me in that film. But I love the beginning of the remake. It really set up a dark, disturbing tone that unfortunately the rest of the film didn't quite deliver for me. I don't hate the film, but I do wish that it lived up to that disturbing feel of the beginning. But I love the original. It's the only one that's really gotten to that disturbing level. And that's what I'm trying to bring back with our film, is a disturbing. I want to disturb you people for multiple reasons. Hopefully we can do that. I think we can. So yes, campaign probably going to start early March again. Early March and go till the end of April, which will leave us a couple months of pre-production time if we shoot in Canada, which I'm really hoping we won't. But if we do, we should be able to knock out pre-production pretty easily in Canada. Just got to make sure everything is in place and our insurance and stuff is going to be the best that we possibly can, and make sure it's covering all the locations and everything like that. Yeah. Ooh, Scotty P. Let's mess with people's minds. That's damn right. We're going to mess with people's minds here. Going to make you guys think a little bit. Going to have to make you guys kind of like reconsider life a little bit after you've seen the movie. That's what I'm going for. Anyways, also going forward, besides another campaign, before this campaign ends, I mean, you never know. We might not run another campaign if we raise enough money in this one. It's still possible, but we need your guys' help. I think that there is. I did put a hyperlink to the Indiegogo campaign in the description. So if you guys haven't, anybody who's in the chat that hasn't contributed yet, you can do it. There's still lots of time. We're not even halfway there yet. We're not even halfway there. So lots of time to still contribute and be a part of this film. That's the thing. When you contribute, you're not just donating money. You're becoming a part of the film. You are going to be attached to the film. We are going to put your name in the credits. And that's important to me. I think that's important to me. It's important to the fans. And I think at the end of the day, I'm doing this for the fans. I'm not just doing it for myself. I'm doing it for the fans. Because I think the fans have been kind of ripped off a little bit with the series, especially as of late. And again, everybody's different, and I don't want to say that all the films are bad or anything like that. I'm not going to go out and say that. I personally have my dislike for a lot of them in the franchise, but I know a lot of people are pretty unhappy with what we've seen in the last few years for sure, and I want to try to give them what they want. And I think I can. That's the thing. I wouldn't do it if I didn't think I can. I actually totally believe that I can. And there are some people out there that just don't think it's possible. And that's totally fine. They say just let the franchise die. I don't want to see it die, though. I really want to prove those people wrong, that there is something there that hasn't been done yet. And I say that wholeheartedly. We are set out to make a film that hasn't been made yet, that fits in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre universe, and it hasn't been made yet. They've tried a lot of different angles, but they haven't done this angle. And I'll say the word disturbing again. That is something that I got from the original. It disturbed me. but I can honestly say not a single other film in the franchise, has actually brought me to that level where I was disturbed. Okay. And that is my goal, is to make it disturbing again. Because to me, that's what's missing. That's what's been missing. I felt like that remake had so much potential. Oh, it was just a little bit, there's just certain things took me out of the film. And, it's too bad, and that's actually where I started actually coming up with my ideas, So, we're all crazy. Yeah, here quoting our trailer there, everybody, right? We're all crazy. I really love that line, actually, and thank you, John Dugan, for supplying that line for us. Because I didn't hear anybody else doing that line. It's, to me, John Dugan is Grandpa, and we had Grandpa from the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre do that voiceover for us, and nobody else was right to do that voiceover but him. So yeah, as soon as I was coming up with the trailer, I'm like, I gotta hear John Dugan say this line, because it means so much more than you think. We're all crazy, everybody. Think about that line. What does it mean to you? What does that line mean to you? It's open to interpretation. To me, it means what it means. It means something pretty deep, but let's hear what you guys think that line really is. What is he saying? What is he really saying when he says that line? That's the kind of stuff I want to discuss with you guys. What is some of this dialogue that we put in our trailer? What does it actually mean? And it's okay if you're like, oh, I don't know what that means, but it means something. Okay, also going forward, before this campaign ends, I keep getting off track here, guys. Keep talking about different things all of a sudden. But we're going to do something a little bit fun. We are going to have another one of these public square events where a little bit of a meet and greet. If anybody was at that meet and greet we had last Saturday, that was a lot of fun. It was great to chat with some of our main cast there. It was important for me to chat with those guys and get them all together, because those are the three that are going to really have the most screen time and probably spend the most time together. There is one other cast member I feel kind of should also be in that mix. Two actually really should be, I should say, that have a lot of screen time. But we're gonna do something with just one of the other cast members coming up on October 25th, and this is going to be a little bit of a contest. Ooh. We haven't set the exact time on the 25th, so be tuned for when we announce that. We will announce it at some point, the exact time, but it will be on the 25th. That'll be with myself and actress model Alicia Graham, who is playing Lorraine, who is Allison's best friend. Her and I are going to do this event. We just wanted it just the two of us, because we didn't want too much of a meet and greet kind of atmosphere, because we want to make it more about you guys. We want to have as many attendees as possible, and it's going to be a trivia, a horror trivia that we're going to do. So, those of you who are like horror, all the horror nuts out there, you're going to want to attend it. It's free to attend, and there will be prizes. Yes, there will be prizes. There will be at least one door prize, like a draw. I don't know if you will really call it a door prize when it's virtual like this, but there will be at least one of those. We might do a couple of draws, actually. We'll see. We're going to discuss it a little bit further, and then whoever wins the trivia will win a bigger prize. That has to do with these, and the prizes will be perks in our campaign, certain perks that we have in our campaign. So the winner will get the bigger perk, and the draw prizes will go to random people who are in, but you have to have shared our campaign to qualify. I'll say that again. You have to have shared our campaign on all your social media, our Indiegogo campaign on all the social media platforms you have, and we actually need to see screenshots of this to qualify for the prizes. Otherwise, just showing up, you actually won't qualify. So we need to see all those shares in advance. Again, it's about getting more people interested in our film, and rewarding those of you who are really helping us get to where we need to be. So I think this is a pretty cool thing. We're excited about it. So I hope you guys will be excited about it too, and just get as many people as you guys can to this. Share. I can't tell you how much how important it actually is to share. I mean, I know for a fact that we've gotten some backers just from people sharing it. Like, it does go a long ways. So any of those who I know cannot actually back it, hey, don't worry about it, but share it. Share it as much as you can. Show your passion that way. Show your passion for Texas Chainsaw Massacre that way. That sharing it is going to it's going to get us there. It'll definitely get us there. And again, I want to reward those who do share it. So that's why we're going to have this little contest, and this will be great for all the horror nuts out there. Again, feel free to send any questions in the chat. I don't know how many people are actually in the chat right now. I have no idea how to even tell. No idea. But yeah, feel free to send any questions. Again, I want to have it be a discussion and Q&A. So again, feel free to ask any questions if you have any. Maybe you guys were a part of that other live meet and greet we had, and you don't really have as much questions, but it was good to talk to you guys anyways. And hey, just tell me, what's your favorite Texas Chainsaw Massacre film? Mine is obviously the original. Again, I don't hate all the other ones, but needless to say, they don't have that same impact on me that the original definitely did. And again, I say the word disturbing. It's that movie that once it's over, it sticks with you. Yeah, Scotty P original as well. But hey, does anybody in the chat actually like some of the other ones? I hear from I get messages from a lot of people. I've had people say, hey, is Chop Top going to be in this one? Because you know what? Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2 does have a following. And fair enough, it has a following. It is so far different, though, from the original that even whether you like it or not, it just doesn't make sense to really acknowledge it. So I know, even though I know that Chop Top has a fan base, there's not going to be a Chop Top in our film. But I can tell you, every single original Sawyer family member from the original film will be in it. All the living ones, at least. All the ones that were alive. You never know. Well, maybe Grandma will be in there somewhere, but it's not actually written in the script. But talked about a little bit, maybe. It's kind of one of those subliminal things for sure. So, what are some of your other? Does anybody have a favorite Texas Chainsaw Massacre film that wasn't the original? Okay, how about this? We'll throw the original aside. What is your favorite Texas Chainsaw Massacre after the original? That's the new question. I would probably have to go with the remake, even though I'm hard on it. I do have to acknowledge that as far as remakes go, it's better than a lot of the other remakes out there. I'm not against remakes. I'm not. I was actually really rooting for the remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre when it came out. I think my expectations were actually too high, is the problem I had. My expectations were just too high. And and I was disappointed because of that. But if I really look at the film, sure, it has some flaws, but is it that bad? I don't know. Theory: Leatherface was wearing grandma at dinner in the original. Ooh, it could be. You never know. I like that theory. Yeah, still not hearing any theories on why I have my daughter screaming in the trailer. It would be kind of cool to hear from you guys on that. But if you guys don't have any, think creatively. What could that be? Scotty, you're not allowed to say because you've read the script. And if there is any new people in the chat, hey, feel free to say hi. We are discussing the film, discussing news going forward. So we want to hear from you. Let me know. I'm going to try doing more of this kind of thing. I hope it's okay. I've never done one of these live chats before. Not on YouTube. I've done the Facebook Live a couple times, but never done the YouTube. Never done the YouTube, and I think I need to start doing this a little bit more often, because there's a big audience on YouTube, and I like to chat. I actually prefer to chat with people like Scotty, though. I'd like to have you online with me. If I could figure out a way that we could both be on this together, that'd be awesome. We should start our own YouTube show, if we can. If we could ever figure that out. But again, I'm not. It's something I'm going to look into because it would be kind of cool. It'd be kind of cool to do something like this on a regular basis, like at least once a week, maybe even a couple times a week. Right now, it looks like there is only 2 others in the chat. It really is just 3 of you guys, eh? Oh, it's okay. I shared it around, but I guess not a lot of people got it. I'll be able to share the live chat after it's done as well, and people will get to hear all the exciting news going forward. But again, we will make the film. We are at the point now where we can say we're definitely making this film. And we have somebody else that joined the chat. Hello, Mr. Poe TV. I know who that is. Why do I know who that is? I think you're a new friend I made on Facebook. Thanks for introducing yourself there, Mr. Poe TV. I gotta look up who you are now. I know I have somebody with the last name Poe. Who's Poe? Aaron Poe, right? Is it Aaron Poe? Is that Aaron? Say yes if it's Aaron. Thank you for joining the chat, though. So thank you for joining. I'll just let you know what's happening. We're talking about a podcast from beneath. Oh, yes, you had Stephanie on your podcast. That's right. Yeah, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much. Stephanie is great. Stephanie is the special effects artist we have attached to the film. And you also chatted with Billy Pond as well, as I recall. Billy's a great big fan of Texas, and he's a great filmmaker in Texas. So Billy's like the guy that knows Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and he's backed our campaign. So I actually want to see if I can get Billy to, come on board in any way to help, but we got to get to Texas first there, guys. We got to get to Texas. So help us get there. The link is in the description to our Indiegogo campaign. It's a long ways from Texas, but we can definitely say we are making the film at this point. And again, the more we raise, the more production value we can actually put into it at this point. I want to pay Scotty, who's in the chat, for playing Leatherface. He's going to go through a lot. Scotty, will you call it at $50? Is $50 enough? But like in all seriousness, that's what it's looking like at this point. Now I know we got lots of time though. We have lots of time to raise more money. We're not shooting till next summer. So definitely, we've got lots of time basically. I know that we will raise more money. but I definitely don't want to not pay them. That is my next big priority as far as raising money goes, is to make sure that I can pay my cast and crew, because that is super important. And then more money into special effects, because we got some really cool stuff we want to do with special effects. And Stephanie is right on board. $50 in lunch. Well, the one thing I will definitely make sure, Scotty, is that we have money for food. I will not. I wouldn't greenlight a production if I didn't have a food budget. So don't worry about food. There'll always be food on my sets. I've never ever done a shoot where the cast and crew wasn't at least fed. Never, and I never will. I will shut it down if I couldn't do that. But we are at the point where I can budget food into the budget. It is in the budget at this point. If we had some refunds on the campaign, then I'd have to take the food out. But but yeah, we do have some money for food. It might not be the best food. It might be some, we might have to cheap out a little bit, but I don't think we will, because I think we're going to raise more money and be able to afford better food, and be able to afford to pay the cast and crew, and be able to afford to pay better SFX. And then after that, we're looking at better props. Again, the chainsaw we have, it's okay, but it's not actually, it doesn't work with the time period. It's not a 1965 or below chainsaw. And that kind of stuff is a little bit important to me. I know it's not important on every film shoot. Again, the remake is another. This was an eye-rolling thing for the remake, for me anyways, but most people won't even know. And that's that the chainsaw used in the remake didn't exist in 1973. I think it was a 90s chainsaw, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe Billy would know. It's a Husqvarna one. What was your motivation to create this film, says Aaron Poe? It is Aaron, right? Say yes if it's, we'll call you Mr. Poe TV if you want. Actually, it was the remake. The remake, because there was so many missed opportunities in the remake, I actually started to the brain cells started to come together when I saw that remake, and I'm like, oh, they should have done this, and they should have done this. And again, I'm not hating on the remake. It probably is definitely one of the better ones in the franchise, but such a missed opportunity. Yes, it is Aaron. I had to make sure I don't want to call you something that you're not. so thanks, Aaron. Thanks for letting me know. But because the beginning of the remake just sets up a very disturbing film. It really felt like they were going to take it to a new level with all that police footage and everything. And boy, John Larroquette's voice really seasoned perfectly for that remake. It was just, his voice was so right for it at that time. Not that it wasn't right in the original, but you could tell his voice was more seasoned in the remake, and it was, it was there. It was it was kind of intimidating. But there were so many things that hold that movie back, in my opinion. And I just began to start thinking, geez, wouldn't it have been cool if they did this? And wouldn't it be cool if they did that? Now, I know that kind of stuff is not really the most important thing. And quite honestly, I didn't really fully put the pieces together until the last couple years. I had kind of left it for a while. I was making other films and all that kind of stuff. But I had to be able to bring something new. I knew I had to bring something new. And again, I'll say this again, the key word is disturbing. I had to be able to bring something that was going to be disturbing. I think we've got that, at least with the reactions I've got from the people that have read the script, was, whoa. I've even on our chat last week that we had with the cast and crew, I think Nika said, whoa, that ending. It's yeah, and Aaron, yeah, thank you. I agree. A lot of missed opportunities. Yes, it's so true. I can't help but look at that. Whenever I watch that film, I want to like it more every time I watch it, but it's like when certain parts come, it's like, I really wish they did this. And I won't get into it too much, but it definitely feels like a missed opportunity. R. Lee Ermey was great in that film. I'll say that. I can't take anything away from him. He was actually scary. He was a scary villain in that movie. The problem is, he was scarier than Leatherface was, in my opinion. I honestly thought Leatherface was kind of a joke in the remake. He was kind of, he was unrealistic. He didn't, that I think that's why Leatherface worked so well in the original, is he looked like a real person. He looked like somebody you would really bump into in that time, at that place in rural Texas. I just didn't feel that way with the remake Leatherface. I thought the costume was incredibly unrealistic. And that, I'll leave it at that with that. I could be okay with the mask. I don't love the mask they had in the remake, but I would have been okay with it if the costume was realistic. I felt like they were going for a Frankenstein look rather than a Leatherface look. And, it was just, I look at that costume and I see the elbow pads and the heavy clothing he was wearing. It doesn't feel like that's what you'd wear in Texas in the summertime. Yes, in the remake. He wore very, very heavy clothes in that remake. And apparently the actor that played Leatherface wasn't the first person that played him in that film. Apparently the original actor that was playing Leatherface in that film had to leave set because the heavy clothing was just too much for Texas. And he had heat stroke, I believe. So, it just goes to show you that those little things, it's going to be hot anyways, but, when you're at the point where you're like hospitalized and stuff because of what you're wearing, it just tells you how unrealistic it is. I know a lot of people are okay with that though. I'm not. I'm picky, I guess. I am picky. And again, that's just one element of that film. Just one little element that bothers me, and there's others. There's definitely others, but I'll leave it at that. I don't want to sound like I'm hating on the remake again. It is one of the better remakes ever made. But I feel like they tried to do too much. I think they tried to build Leatherface into a monster that he really shouldn't be. He's a real person, and he's a scary person, but when Leatherface came on the screen the first time in the original, you felt like this was real. This guy was real. Jacob Harper. Oh, we got a new person in the chat. Thank you, Jacob, for coming in. Less is more when it comes to that. Very, very true. I am very much a less is more kind of guy. And I'm all about subtle messages and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to be making a film that's going to have the characters, the Sawyer family saying, "Hey, we're going to eat you. This is your friends we're eating for dinner, and we're going to eat you too." That's not subtlety. There's at no point in the original did anyone say that, but you knew that cannibalism was a part of it. But at no point was it actually said in the original that these were cannibals. At no point did anyone say, "We're going to eat you," but you heard the hitchhiker saying, "He's just a cook." That's the closest thing you ever actually get in that original to actually describing any of the cannibalism, is saying he's just a cook. I think that's great. You get the cannibalism from just seeing them at the dinner table. Marilyn Burns at the gas station, looking at the barbecuing, and the expression on her face says it all. Nothing was said. Nothing was said in that point. Subtlety. We got that sense from the expression on her face and the shots that they were doing of the barbecue that's roasting there. It's like, ooh, is this humans, you know. It's powerful. Less is more. Jacob Harper, TCM remake is one of the better remakes of classic horror films, but the prequel definitely dropped a bit. Yeah, still good though. Yeah, I can agree with that too. Again, it was the subtlety in that. You know, I felt like the remake had zero indication of the cannibalism, and that's okay. If you want to take that out, it makes it less disturbing. If you're going to take out cannibalism, you got to find something else disturbing to attach to it, and I don't think they did that. I think that's a problem I have. But then they go to the prequel, and it wasn't subtle. It really wasn't subtle. The cannibalism. It's cool to see the cannibalism back, but at the same time, it was not a less is more. It was making it over the top, and that's the problem I have with that film. I have little problems with every film in the franchise. Even the original, I have some minor, very minor problems. But you know, at the same time, nothing is perfect. There's no such thing as perfect. So I can honestly say, in my opinion, the original film is the greatest horror film of all time. Definitely the scariest horror film of all time, in my opinion. But you know, a lot of people disagree with me. A lot of people think The Exorcist is the scariest film of all time, and you know, I like The Exorcist, but it doesn't scare me. It really doesn't. Jacob Harper, and I also really enjoyed the 2017 film Leatherface, despite its issues. Oh, okay, fair enough. I didn't like it, but you know, that's fair enough, though. I mean, I have some major issues with that as well, but it didn't feel like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film more than anything is my reason. And you know, it's, you know, all these films have their fans, and I can appreciate that. You know, we all have different tastes. It is what it is, and you know, I definitely not going to hate on any of those films, but to me they're missing something, that's for sure. I think what made the remake Leatherface unique was how angry and violent he was, whereas the OG Leatherface was mentally deranged man-child. Remake Leatherface was truly angry and hateful. I like that. Okay, that's fair enough. That's a fair statement. I can agree with that to a point. I guess for me, you felt like he was angry because of like he was picked on or something. They made it sound like they were what's the word I'm looking for? Not treated about well by the local people. That he was just not. He was kind of picked on or something. It's kind of a teenage angst sort of thing, maybe. And I don't know. I get that. My biggest issue was the casting for Leatherface. Sam Coleman, same Coleman, long-haired dude, was definitely the better cast for Leatherface, but still dug how it played out. Yeah, I definitely agree that the big guy should have played Leatherface. It didn't make sense it actually didn't physically make sense for the other guy to be Leatherface. It didn't. Physically, it's impossible. Now you're saying, could that guy put on a bunch of weight? Sure, he could. He could not grow an entire foot, though, like pretty much an entire foot, to get up to Leatherface height. You just couldn't. So I can't. There's not at his age. If he was like 13 years old and that was the case, I could buy it. When you're at like 18, 19 years old, you're not gonna grow like 8 inches, 9 inches. I don't know. Like he was short. He was under 6 feet for sure. There's just no way. So for that alone, to me, it was a twist that didn't need to be a twist. And I like a good twist. Trust me, I like a good twist. But I don't think twists are quite the right approach for a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. Not a twist, but I'm a reveal kind of guy. Give me a good reveal. You know? Give me a subtle reveal. Make it subtle. Subtle, disturbing reveal. Reveal something in layers. And that's what made the original so good. But I agreed the OG had more subtlety. Yeah. And OG Leatherface looked more realistic. Yeah, I mean, we're going to agree on it. We're always going to agree on that. And again, why he was so scary to me. The remake Leatherface was angry because he dealt with a shit hand. And yeah, I understand that. I understand all that. Totally do. That, and he was born with a skin disease. Yeah, I think that's the angle I don't really care for. The whole skin disease picked on because of what he looked like. And, I get it. It's just, it's to me, it's revealing too much. I don't like revealing that kind of stuff. It's what you don't know about. If I didn't know why he was so angry, I might have more respect for it. Yeah. Yeah, you agree. It didn't need to be a mystery. It was a little bit kind of obvious to me that they were going to do something like that too, in Leatherface. It was a little bit obvious to me. Um, I mean, I can tell you that, like, our film is a prequel too, as well. It's a prequel to the original. But if you calling it a prequel as an origin story, it's not. It's not that. Our film is definitely not an origin story, and I gotta stress that a lot because some people think it is. And anytime you hear the word prequel, you automatically think it's going to be an origin story. Our film won't be that, and it might disappoint some people who want that. But at the same time, if you want that, go watch Leatherface. You're welcome to watch Leatherface because that was an origin story. Even the beginning was more of an origin story. It was kind of a half-assed origin story, but it was an origin story to some point, right? You got to see Leatherface be born and all that kind of stuff, right? That's been done. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. What's been done. Mine just simply takes place before the original. Our film just simply takes place before, and adds something new. And again, I use the word disturbing, adds a new disturbing element to the family that hasn't been done before. And I hope that gets people excited, because that's the key that's missing from all these other films is the disturbing factor. Show me something disturbing. And I haven't been getting that from these films. And that's just my opinion. Maybe if there is anything disturbing in these recent films to you guys, let me know in the chat. I think the best thing to do with a Chainsaw Massacre prequel is show more of the family. Okay, that's cool. I'm not going to tell you whether I do that in my film or not. But I can tell you I'm not going to give a lot of backstory or anything to the family, but you'll see the family. You'll get to see you'll get to see the entire family from the original. Maybe more. Some characters will be featured more than others from the family, but they're all there. You might even think that some of the characters are different than you would expect. I would say that. Again, trying to add layers. So I have to leave it at that. I can't say anything more than that. I'm trying to add something that hasn't been done, and I'm trying to think of where these characters, where they would have been thinking like 7 or 8 years prior to the original. Because that's kind of important. They're not going to be the same people. Not exactly. You could see where they become those people, but, I'm not going to tell the story of how they became those people, but because, again, I don't want to feel like it's an origin story. One thing I would have loved to see is the All-American Massacre, where it's just a series of flashbacks from Chop Top, how their family was killed so much in their time. Yeah, and a lot of people like that. Again, I'm not a big Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 guy, but I do respect the fact that it has a following, and Chop Top is a well-liked character. But he has nothing to do with our film. He's, like I said, it's the original family only from the original film. Maybe you'll see somebody else. I will leave it at that. But to me, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 was just so far from the original that I definitely wanted to leave anything with Chop Top out. Again, nothing against Chop Top, but it's to me he doesn't really fit. He doesn't fit with definitely doesn't fit in our script in the script we have. But again, I totally understand that. I totally understand the love for Chop Top. He was an interesting character, a little bit too cartoony in my opinion. Again, but I feel like they're trying to recapture a little bit of the hitchhiker, or Nubbins as he was later called. I still call him the hitchhiker because I'm just such a fan of the original. But yeah. I don't dig TCM2 as much as a lot of other people do, but All American Massacre idea was it sounds like an interesting idea. I haven't seen it, so I can't really say. I just know that it's pretty much from the perspective of Chop Top, and I'm just not a huge fan of the character, so it's hard for me to say whether it's good or not. I haven't seen it. It was shelved, right? It never got. I don't know if it'll ever see the light of day, unless there's a leaked version online somewhere that I don't know about. I don't know. I know that it's one of those things that has always been talked about but never seen. Yeah, so I'd be interested. I would see it for sure. I would be interested to see it. But again, it's our film is going to be different. Our film is going to be different. I think most people will like it. Not everybody will like it, because there are those hardcore TCM2 fans out there that just love Chop Top that much, or there's those hardcore remake fans out there that think that I should be following the Hewitts rather than the Sawyers. And hey, man, I totally get that. I can't please everybody with this film, but we will please a lot of people with our film. I can promise you that we will please a pretty wide fan base with our film. And I say our film because it's going to be all of our film. Everybody who's in this chat right now, everybody who's contributed, everybody who's shared, this film cannot be made without you guys and without the great crew that we have attached, cast and crew, that just got our script. This Indiegogo doesn't make it to its goal. Do you have another plan? Yes, we do. All the plans have been put in place. Now, is it a good thing if we didn't raise another dollar? No, but we can still feasibly make the film. It won't be as good as we want it to be, though. I talked about that before you joined the chat there, Jacob. So you'll see that early, but we're going to be skimping on things. Money from here on out that we earn throughout our Indiegogo is going to go towards making sure the cast and crew are taken care of, because at this point they're not getting paid, and they've all been very hey, I understand and all that kind of stuff, and I just want to make this film, and that's great. I love that, but I've asked people to work for free before for the good of the art, and I don't feel good about it. There will be food on set, of course. Everybody will get food. But at the end of the day, I don't feel good about people working for free. The only person that should be working for free on this is me. And that's because it's my vision and my campaign. And I can't make money off of this for legal reasons too. But again, it's not about money for me. It's about getting my vision out there. So no matter what, we're making this film. But we are planning to do another Indiegogo campaign in the spring. That will be more focused on making sure we get to Texas. That'll be the goal with that campaign, is to get to Texas, because that is really important to me as well. I'm okay to film it here in Canada, but I really don't want to. I'd like to get paid. Yes, Scotty P. You'll get paid in food. What about McDonald's? No, just kidding, man. I won't sink quite that low when it comes to food. I know you'd like to get paid, Scotty, and everybody would like to get paid. And But you know what? Every penny we earn from now on out, what does go into that? I also still lots of time in our campaign. Not, I shouldn't say every penny. Every penny for like the next $2,000 will pretty much go into paying the cast and crew. Because that's a bare minimum. You know, obviously, if we earn a lot more money, I'm going to pay you guys more. I'd like to pay you guys all like $500 a day if I can. If I can. Scotty says, cool. I'd work on a TCM film for McDonald's. Thank you, Jacob. So would I. I don't, again, you know, it's an honor just to be making a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. I'm really excited about it. But we do need your help, guys. You know, like, keep spreading the word. If you haven't donated yet, there is a link in the description. Get more people on this chat right now. We'll talk as long as you guys are chatting. For those of you who haven't heard the news, we're going to be having a contest on the 25th of October. That's like 3 or 4 days before the end of the campaign. So it'll be kind of our big push to get more money into the campaign. But we're going to give away some prizes. So if any of you guys in the chat are horror nuts that really know your horror films, you'll want to be a part of this competition, because the winner will get a pretty cool perk in the campaign. One of our more high-end, one of our higher perks anyways. Not the high. Nobody's getting that executive producer package, I'll tell you that. Honestly, I wish I knew more about this earlier. I'm a diehard TCM fan and would love to be on the early cast or crew for this. Hey, that's not impossible. That's not impossible. There are perks for that, Jacob. You go into our perks. You can look. I actually updated one of the perks that was to be an extra in the film. Now, I'm not sure where you're located, but if you are located close to where we're filming, you can get that perk for a lot cheaper and pay for your own accommodations, travel and accommodations. So that perk of extra casting was at $2,500 Canadian, around $2,000 American, I think, around there. But if you're willing to pay for your own travel and accommodations, it'll be only for $500 Canadian, which will be, I think, a little under $400 American. If you're in the States. Are you in the States there, Jacob? We got people from the UK. We had one lady from Texas. I don't know if she's still in the chat or not. But thank you guys for all chatting with me. Susie Lopez is from Texas. So these perks are still available. We don't have a lot of those perks because I don't have a lot of room for extras in the film. But there's a little bit of room. There's room for it. And I said earlier, I'll give you the choice of either being killed by Leatherface or have a line in the movie somewhere. if you get one of those perks. Jacob Harper, I'm in Texas. So you could get that perk for the cheaper version of that perk. I'm just saying, hey, wouldn't it be pretty cool to be killed by Scotty here? So that's under $400 for you to get killed by Leatherface or have a line in the film. That's pretty much how I think we're going to do it, is either get killed by Leatherface or have a line in the film. I like that. So yeah, but also keep in mind of our competition, mentioning that again, on October 25th. How should I say this? If you're good at horror, if you know a lot about horror, we're gonna have, and it'll be horror of all times, new, old, all that kind of stuff. It'll be a trivia. It'll be a trivia, and it'll be done in kind of a chat form like this. So it'd be like the first person to chat the answer gets the point, kind of thing. So if you're good at that, you might want to just do that. It's free. It's free to attend, but there is the only thing we ask to qualify for the prize, the big prize, or any of the draw prize. We're going to do at least 1 or 2 draws for a smaller prize, for a smaller perk in the campaign. If you want to qualify, you have to share our Indiegogo campaign on all your social media platforms. Now, some people aren't on every one, but if you're on all those ones, we want to see screenshots of you sharing our Indiegogo campaign. Again, it's about building it, right? We want to grow that campaign more. When is the trivia? October 25th. We don't have the time figured out yet. It will be on Public Square like our last meet and greet was. And it'll be myself and Alicia Graham, who's playing Lorraine in the film. We're both going to do it together. So it's October 25th. That's a Sunday. We'll announce the exact time when we do it sometime in the next week or so. I think we'll have that sorted out. And a big shout out to Yash Polywall, who's setting up all this Public Square events for us. He's a great guy. He's been doing this stuff for free. He actually normally charges a price to do those meet and greet type events, and he just wants to see us succeed so well that he's not even charging me to do it at this point. Anyways, I'm sure eventually he will, but at least I kind of hope he will, because he's got a good business there doing that. So I support that. I support, and he's very hands-on with a non-techie guy like me. I am very non-techie, everybody. So he walks me through it and everything. Eventually I'll get a good grasp on it. But it was a pretty good meet and greet I think we had last Saturday. I'm sure some of you were probably on that meet and greet. I'm not sure if all of you were, but it's great. It was great. It was a lot of fun. It was great to see those actors interact. Those are like my 3 top actors in the film. So it was great to see them chat and interact, because they're going to need to like each other because they're going to spend a lot of time with each other. But it was great. It's just another one of those things that makes me know that I have the right cast and crew attached. I talked with every single one of them. Each member of the cast and crew I did video chats with to make sure that they were really on board when I casted them. It wasn't just, it was great to know that everybody was so into the script, and that's great. I'm really, really honored that you guys liked the script that much. It does mean a lot, because I definitely don't think I'm the greatest writer or anything like that. I'm still, fairly new. I had a lot of help with the script, mind you. I had a lot of people talking me through ideas and stuff like that. So I give a lot of credit out to all those people that helped me, but they all believed in the idea. Every single writing consultant I had on the script really believed in the idea. Thought, hey, there's so much potential here. Let's get it up to where it needs to be. And we got it up to a place where it needs to be. Will there be any rewrites? Probably mostly dialogue rewrites. I'd love to get Billy Pond to do a dialogue rewrite for me, just because he's from Texas. I'm Canadian. I'm supposed to write Texas dialogue when I'm Canadian. I would love it if he did that. I don't know if he will. Aaron, if you're still in the chat, hey, ask Billy for me. Ask Billy if he'll do a dialogue rewrite. I'm not sure if I did send Billy the script. I'm not sure if he's had a chance to read it yet. But Billy Pond is a great guy to have, and to have Billy Pond actually backing our campaign, it means a lot to me. Billy is the man. Thank you, Aaron. He is. And he understands. When I heard him on your podcast, him and Stephanie on your podcast. Stephanie's our makeup special effects gal with the Skin Deep SFX. She's awesome, by the way. I love her. I was so happy when I found her. But anyways, Billy, when I heard him talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre on your podcast, I really want him to be a part of this film, because he gets it better than anyone. Billy Pond truly does get it better than anyone. Maybe he didn't write the script that I wrote. I don't know. I don't know if he has a Texas Chainsaw Massacre script out there somewhere. But I'm sure he must at some point. I don't know. But he when I heard him on your podcast, it's like, this is why we got to film in Texas. This is why I don't want to settle for filming in Canada, even though I know I can, and there's a good possibility we'll have no choice but to. It's just he got it. He really gets it. He knows why you can't shoot a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film in Bulgaria, which I should note, that's where they've been filming the last couple films. You know, Leatherface was shot in Bulgaria. The new one that they're shooting now was shot in Bulgaria, and even I can tell, and I'm from Canada, I can tell it's not Texas. And I can tell in my trailer that I shot that it's not in Texas. Although, I mean, some people get fooled on it. Apparently we fooled some people. I guarantee you this, we didn't fool Billy. Billy, if you've seen our trailer, tell me, did it look like Texas? You won't fool anybody. I don't think you'll actually fool anybody from Texas. And it's not my goal to fool anybody. I want it authentic. You know, Texas Chainsaw Massacre was called the Texas Chainsaw Massacre because it was filmed in Texas. They wouldn't have called it the Texas Chainsaw Massacre if it wasn't filmed in Texas. So it becomes essential that you film it in Texas. That is. I will be a little bit bummed if we don't earn enough to film in Texas. I'm not gonna lie. I will be a little bit bummed. I'll still do it. I'll still film it with with the best we can and make the best darn film we can. But I'm gonna be a little bit heartbroken if I can't get this thing to Texas. So help us get to Texas, guys. Indiegogo link in the description. Scotty P, it was 18 degrees Celsius when we filmed the trailer here in Canada. Yeah, everybody, it's amazing how many people on YouTube channels and stuff were like, oh, it looks so hot where they're filming. It was not hot. It was cold. It was windy. I think I have to give my buddy William David Amendola credit on that, though. He colored our trailer. He did the coloring after we edited it, and I gotta give him credit. Will, if you're around, he also backed the camp. He's such a nice guy. He's a DOP that I work with here in Canada, and he just offered his services, and he's backed our campaign. Great guy. Great. I've worked with him so much. I'll be bummed that if I do shoot in Texas, I'll be bummed that I can't work with him on it. But so there's two sides to the coin, I guess. But at the same time, I'm so excited to work with some of these great people in Texas that just get it. Again, I would love Billy on in some way. I would love for Billy to be attached. Hell yeah. About 64 Fahrenheit. Yeah, I'm not good at converting those conversions, Scotty. But, it's exciting though. It's totally possible that we'll make it to Texas. That's the thing, especially if we do a second campaign. But hey, we could still reach it with this campaign. We only have to hit about 25K to guarantee a Texas shoot. That'll pretty much guarantee it. We're far from that now. But it's still very, very possible. And I get messages from people all the day. Hey, like every day. Hey, I'm still planning to back your campaign. Just waiting for a little bit more money to come in. I get that. Hey, times are tough. And you back it when you can. And if you can't back it, I appreciate all the sharing you guys have done. It means so much to me. It really does. It really tells me that we've got something here. There's people behind it. That our trailer must have been good enough to get people to back it. Even though we shot that trailer in Canada. In one day. I still can't believe we shot all that footage in one day. 4 locations. Was it 4 or 5 locations? 4. 4 locations. It was 4 locations. And driving in between. There was a good amount of driving in between locations. We shot all that in one day. I still look at that, and there were some shots that we took that actually didn't even make it into the trailer too. So I should point that out, because they just weren't fitting. It's funny. There's the there was the trailer that we wrote on paper, that I wrote on paper. The trailer we shot, which was there were some differences due to, you know, angles and stuff like that we had to work with. And then there's a trailer that was the trailer we released, or the trailer we edited. And if I look at the trailer we wrote compared to the trailer we finished with, it's quite a bit different, you know. But, you know, it's still I think it's still a pretty solid trailer. And the real goal with that trailer was to give you the sense that this is going to be a feature film, not a short film. Could I turn the script to a short film if we have budget problems? Probably. I don't want to, though. I really think it couldn't be too short of a film. Got to hop off here. We'll keep in touch. Very excited about this film. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you so much for coming in. I think we'll probably call it here pretty soon, too. Thank you guys all for stopping by. If anybody does have any questions, though, let me know. Now's the time to get them in before we pop off here. Thank you guys all for joining me. Again, share this stuff as much as you can. We want to get to some higher goals. I want to pay the cast and crew. We got to raise at least another grand so we can pay some people. I would like to at least raise another $2,000 to pay people, just for paying people. And then after that, it'd be great to have some of those cool SFX that we have planned. And there's some really cool ones. That's all I can say. I don't want to spoil the film for you. But yeah, those are my priorities. You know, obviously, getting expensive camera gear is going to be kind of last on the priority because we already have access to decent enough camera gear. So if I'm going to pay to rent, I'm not going to pay to rent an Area Alexa or a Red when there's things more important than that. It would be pretty important for something else, for a different type of film. I think for a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film, though, you don't necessarily need the biggest high-end camera. Just my opinion. What are your guys' thoughts on that, though? Do you need the most expensive camera to shoot a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film? Our trailer was shot with a pretty low-end camera, a decent camera, but I think it looks okay. I think the look of it looks pretty. It looks like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film with that look. You know, that's just my opinion, though. And I think, I think most people agree with that. You don't need something super cinematic. If it was something else, you know, if it was a different film, I probably would really go for that high-end camera. And I will if we raise the money for it. But we're talking when we get like over $100K here, people. If we get over $100K, that's when I start looking at the high-end camera. I think so much stuff is more important than that. You know, paying the cast and crew, getting the best practical special effects, getting like the authentic props from the 60s, the cars, the vehicles from that predate the 60s. That stuff's more important than the camera. The wardrobe, you know, the hairstyles, you gotta match. Oh, thank you for returning, Jacob. If you have any more, we're gonna call it a day here pretty soon. But if you have any more questions, now's the time, because we will call it a day here pretty quick. We've been on for about an hour and a half now. I'll talk as long as you guys are talking, but I think did you guys get all the information coming up? All the different info of what's coming up, the contest, the possible second campaign, very possible second campaign coming up in spring. If you didn't hear about that stuff, I can talk about it again. But Scotty, I think you've been here the whole time pretty much. But let me know. I'm not sure if Matt Flower and Susie are still on. Matthew Flower and Susie, if you guys are still on, let me know. If not, then I guess you're not. And that's okay. We'll be sharing this anyways. Will the Blu-ray be region free And will it have any special features? What do you mean by region free? I'm not sure what that means. I'm not sure. It will have special features. I can definitely 100% confirm that. It will have a behind the scenes, possible blooper reel. I do like blooper reels, but also will y'all be going live again soon. This was a dope chat. I'm going to try to do more of this kind of stuff. Since you guys seem to be pretty interactive with it too. It'd be nice to get a little bit more people on, but you know what? I'll talk to one person if they're talking, right? If you guys are asking questions, I'll talk to as little as one person. And I actually like doing this. I want to do this kind of stuff for you guys. Yeah, for sure. I'm going to try to do something like this once a week if I can. We'll see. This campaign is super overwhelming, though. You have no idea how much work I actually have to put into this campaign. It's not just, set it and forget it. Anybody who's ever running an Indiegogo campaign or a Kickstarter or whatever, it's not just setting it up that's a lot of work, because it was a lot of work to make it look as good as it does. But actually running it is... I see. Region free, meaning it can be play on any Blu-ray, specifically American players, since it is filmed in Canada and assuming processes in America. Oh, that is something I might have to look into. I didn't know that about Blu-rays. I'll definitely consult people, but I think I don't see that being an issue, though. I don't see it being an issue. I will talk to some people that know more about that. Oh, some DVDs don't work internet. So is it DVD or Blu-ray? I have to admit, I don't do either. We didn't even originally have a DVD option on the campaign, but I added it because people were requesting it. Multiple people, and I think we've sold 5 or 6 anyways. I thought maybe we'd sell one and that would be it. But no, we didn't. Meant the discs will be processed in Canada. Typo. I'm open to them being processed in the U.S. If that I don't know if that helps. I could probably get them processed in both Canada and the U.S. Get some processed in Canada for the Canadian people, and some processed in the U.S. for the U.S. people. I think I can do both. I don't see any reason why I couldn't do it for both. Yeah. I don't see any reason why I couldn't do it for both. I could have 2 orders, one from the U.S., one from Canada, if that's what I have to do. If there's a way to make them compatible in both areas, then I will, rather than go through 2 different platforms to do it. But I'll definitely make sure that the Blu-rays work with both. I thank you for bringing that to my attention, though, because I had no idea that they were different in the U.S. than they are in Canada. I'm asking because I'm eyeing the Blu-ray perk. Also, I'm really eyeing the script perk. I am a screenwriter myself, and to get the script would be dope as hell. Oh, I hope I can inspire you with the script. I would think. I'll tell you this though: don't read it until you've seen the movie, because you don't want to spoil it. You don't want to spoil it. And I will sign that script, by the way, unless you're talking about the digital download, which is script movie, and it's the digital form. I obviously can't sign a digital form, but I think you're talking about the physical script. Yes, I will sign that script. If you look in the description, you can actually click on the perk, and it'll actually say all the features that come with it. There you go. So there you go. Yeah, happy to answer your questions. If there's any questions I missed, feel free to reach out to me via social media platforms. I'm very good at answering messages on the Messenger, Facebook Messenger, and Instagram. I don't really know if there's a message platform on Twitter. I think there is, but I've never really used it. But definitely those 2 platforms, you can definitely reach me. Probably going to read the script as I watch. That's not a bad idea. It is true to see how it adapts. Because like I said earlier, there's the script you write, there's the script you film in production, and then there's the movie you release. So the movie you write, movie you film, movie you release. I guarantee you this, the script won't be exactly the same as the movie. But hopefully it'll be pretty close. Sorry, I had to deal with work thing. Oh, no worries, man. No worries. Thank you for returning. Matthew, did you hear all of the stuff about the events that we have coming up? There is. I'll follow you on Twitter. Yeah, you can follow me on all these social media platforms, and you can follow the Sawyer Massacre as well. Because I'm under both. I'm on Facebook. I tend to use my own name more. So if you're going to send me a message, you can send a message to the Sawyer Massacre as well, but I typically don't see those ones right away. But on Instagram, I'm pretty much always logged into the Sawyer Massacre Instagram page rather than my own Instagram. So, yeah. I missed everything. Ha ha ha. But I'll watch the video back. Okay. So Matthew, we have a contest coming up on October 25th. Watch the video back and you'll get some details. If you're a horror lover, you're going to love it. There you go. Jacob, you just followed me. Thank you. Thank you so much for following the Sawyer Massacre on Twitter. And you can follow me on Twitter too, Steve Merlo, if you want. I am trying to build my Twitter for the Sawyer Massacre. I just started it. I have to say, I wish I had started the Sawyer Massacre Twitter account earlier because I'm very low on followers. I've had my own Twitter for years now. Twitter is actually one I'm not very good with. I hate to say. Matthew, we missed you. I don't know if Susie's still around either. She may have had to go too. Who knows? That's okay. Yeah. That sounds up my street. Yeah, if you're a horror buff, definitely want to get into that contest. Rules are simple though. You do have to share our Indiegogo campaign on your social media. We are going to make like an official announcement with it as well. This is not the official announcement. It's sort of what's to come. I should also let you guys know before we go, this is not a for sure thing. This is not 100%, but we might have the possibility to film at the original gas station in Texas if we get our Texas goal. We might. It's a might. Again, I can't stress might. I wasn't saying anything about this before because I thought it was not a chance in hell that we would get to film there. But it actually looks like there's a slight possibility now because I've made some good connections in Texas and connections to that gas station. But it's a very, very, I still say it's very slight. I don't want to get you guys' hopes up. The gas station is in the script. I don't think that's really a spoiler. The Texas goal is 25K. If we have to hit 25K to shoot in Texas, obviously if we come to like 24.5, something like that, 24.5, we'll probably still make it work. But it's more or less the Texas goal is 25K. So we've got a lot of work to get there, but we have time. We have a lot of time, guys. We have lots of time. We just have to share as much as we can, which is why I'm having this contest. Before this campaign ends, I'd like to hit 10K. I think that's a reasonable goal to hit 10K before this campaign ends. It's reasonable to hit all 25K too, but it will put us better positioned for our second campaign if we've hit 10K with this one. We will be much better positioned if we hit 10K with this one to shoot in Texas for 25K. And we can only shoot with 25K in Texas because I've made some good connections down there that'll actually save us about another 10K. Because it really would be about 35K is what we would need to film in Texas if And that's a minimum goal too. I mean, there's sacrifices we will be making at a 25K budget. But I have made some connections that can save me money, can save me about 10K for that Texas goal, which is good, which is really awesome. And yes, the gas station would be wild. Scotty, you'd have no scenes there though. You've read the script. Oh, is that a spoiler? Not really a spoiler. I mean, well, I guess Leatherface did make an appearance at the gas station in the original. I always forget that he was kind of there a little bit, sort of, in a scene. But yeah, you'd still get to go check it out, though. I mean, if we're in Texas, you're going to get to go check it out no matter what. But yeah, we want to use that gas station because it's going to look more authentic. You're going to believe Drayton is Drayton when you see him at that gas station, you know. I think so. Stuff like that. Anyways, that would be so dope. Really hope you guys make it there. I do too. I think we can. Keep supporting us. Is filmmaking your full-time job or just a passion? You know what? It is more of a passion than a job. I have made some money in the film business. Not a ton. I've been paid on some gigs, probably more for my music, my music composing more than anything else. But it's not. I believe it or not, I'm not really a full-time anything other than a full-time dad. But I also on the part-time I sell life insurance, which is boring as hell. But if anybody needs life insurance, well, I can't sell it to you unless you're in BC. Scotty, I'll sell you life insurance. I'll give you good deals. He's the only one I know that's in this chat that's in BC, so in British Columbia. But yeah, that's what I do outside of filmmaking. But even that's part-time. Filmmaking is a part-time and more of a passion than anything else. But I'm getting, I think it's something I can see myself making full-time for sure. Hopefully this film will give me that opportunity, because obviously I can't make any money off of this film, it being a fan film. I can't make a dime off of it, but I could get recognition, and that's important to me. I think if we make a good enough film, I think a lot of people can get recognition, not just me, anybody who works on this film. And that's one thing about the original too I should mention. The original film wasn't Tobe Hooper's movie. He was the director. But that movie would not have been made if you didn't have all the right people on board. It wouldn't have been the same. It was mostly, the script was mostly written by Kim Henkel. So it was mostly his. I mean, I think Hooper had ideas in there as well, but it was really Kim's script, from what I've heard. But you have the set design people, you had the makeup people, you had everybody just really pulling together. You had the great acting. Marilyn Burns was amazing in that film. She never got enough credit on that film. I'm sure she did okay from that film, but she never got enough credit. And it bothers me when people say, oh, she just screamed the whole time. No, she gave an intense, realistic performance. And if people don't want screaming, well, you don't want real life then, in my opinion. Oh, we have a new person in the chat. Ethan. Hi, Ethan. I think that if this film was made, it will be a great movie. Well, it's not a matter of if it will be made. It will be made, Ethan. We can tell you that. Great movie with what we've got right now. There'll be sacrifices. It's still the potential for it to be great, but we need to raise more money to get rid of those sacrifices. I don't want to make some of these sacrifices we have to make. So yeah. Thank you though, Ethan. I'm glad you have the confidence in us. Ultimately I want to make what we have in our script for the most part. Obviously there will be some changes. Like I said, I hope Billy Pond can rewrite some of my dialogue, because he's a hardcore Texan. I'm a Canadian, so I have no ego, guys. I'm not the egotistical guy saying my dialogue stays. Well, maybe if it's in my wheelhouse, it stays. But, I'm not from Texas. I can only base my dialogue that I wrote off the original film. Really, that's even that can't be totally comprehensible because the original film still takes place a number of years after ours. So, I mean, lingo changes over the years, right? The way people talk in Texas now is far different than the way they talked back in 73. Just saying. You got to take those types of things into consideration. Always do. When the film comes around, I'm an actor. When the next film comes around, I'm an actor, writer, and director doing film work in college. So I'm down to work on some projects. Hey, I'm a very open-minded guy. I like to work with good people. That's my big thing. And, I'm not going to lie. I have worked with some people I don't ever want to work with again. But you got to be willing to work with those people. I'll definitely keep you in mind, Jacob. You reach out to me, man. Let's connect. You're doing film in college and director doing film and work in college? Okay. I never went to film school, believe it or not. It's something I kind of decided to do later on in life. I got a good push from my wife. She really thought I should do it. And she was right. I should do it. I'm so happy I got into film. I do wish I kind of got into it younger, but you know what? It's never too late, right? Anybody who's thinking, geez, I'm too old to do this now. No, you're not. You're not. I'm only 40. I'm starting to get somewhere in the film business. My short film Unseen won a few awards. That was kind of cool. If you're ever in England, I'm not an actor, but I'll definitely jump in as an extra. Awesome. Yeah, you definitely don't want that extra perk. It'll cost you a lot to fly from England, that's for sure. Yeah, studying media arts at university right now. What year are you in? Never too late to follow your dreams. Yes. Follow Your Heart was the name of the only feature film I ever made. It was not a horror film. It also never has been released, though. If you want to know why, well, you'll have to rewind the tape. I don't want to talk about that again. Well, I did talk about it earlier, though. So if you guys are cool, we'll wrap this up here. You guys have been awesome. It's good to meet all you guys. And again, if you haven't contributed to our campaign yet, it's not too late. Every contribution that goes in from this point on actually goes into paying the cast and crew. And that is important to me. That's all I can say. I want to pay these people. So, geez, if you got a $50 perk, well, then all the cast and crew gets like $2 each. But still, you're a sophomore. Okay, thanks, Jacob. I also done film at university. Actually, since we did this, we had a new contribution of $20. So, hey, everybody's getting about $1 at this point. Scotty, you okay with $1? Sure you are. There you go. Thanks, guys. So yes, if you haven't contributed to the campaign, please do. I want to pay these guys and share it with everybody. That's going to be congruent with the content, with the contest we have coming up, with the trivia contest we're going to have on the 25th. Lots of time to share. You do have to share it on all your social media platforms. And you have to send us screenshots that you shared it. It's kind of weird that we have to. We're going to actually make an official announcement about that probably in a week. Within the next week anyways. I don't know if it'll be exactly a week. We'll make an official announcement on social media. I'll probably do an official announcement through this again because, hey, it worked out okay. This was kind of fun doing a live stream on YouTube. I've never done one of these before. Thank you guys for being patient with me during this live stream. It was a lot of fun. Oh, can $1 even get you McDonald's, Scotty? Scotty says, McDonald's, here we come. Well, $1 might get you McDonald's, but we're going to get more than that. Again, we're not even halfway through this campaign, and we're looking at a second campaign. Again, the goal is to get to Texas. And you know what? I won't go to Texas if I can't pay people. I think that's why our base is at least $25K. People have to get paid if they're going to, especially if any of our Canadian crew, like Scotty. Scotty is one of the only Canadian people with me that's going to Texas. As long as you get your visa, sir, you make sure you get your visa. Otherwise, you can't get paid. Otherwise, you are working for free, Scotty. There's absolutely nothing I can do about that because it's not my money that you're getting paid with. It's these people's money, right? Just so you know, Scotty. But yeah, we'll keep. We have lots of time, though. That's something to keep in mind. Lots of time. Thank you guys all for tuning in and being a part of this awesome conversation. You guys are really awesome. I thank you guys for sticking around. It's been, almost 2 hours, I think, now that we've been on here. And you guys just keep sending in good comments. I love it. And I love that people have different opinions on different films in the franchise. It's amazing how big the hate community can be. I don't hate on any of those people that like the different films that I don't like. I'll say I don't like some of those films, but it's great to see it and have a difference of opinion. Tell me why you have that opinion. It's great. I love it. But some of these people, like there's was some people on Reddit. I just joined Reddit and I put, was announcing this and they're like, no chop top, no interest. Somebody said that. And I was like, oh, okay. That's fine. You want to be closed-minded about it? That's fine. To say that there can't be a good Texas Chainsaw Massacre film if Chop Top's not in it, that's kind of closed-minded. But I'll respect it. It's you're not I guess you're not the audience we're going for. Basically, is what it comes down to. And again, there won't be not everybody's going to love our film. Not everybody will, but I can tell you, a lot of people will. A lot of people have been waiting for the film that we are making. A lot of people are really honestly waiting for this film. And I'm one of those people. I've been one of those people for a while. So thank you guys all for the questions and the comments. We will get this film made. And I know you guys are going to help us get there. Not help me, help us. Because it really is a community. We cannot make this film without a great community. This will be a film made by the fans for the fans. And it'll be remembered. It'll be remembered saying the fans made this film. The fans made it, not the studio. The fans know what a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film should be. The fans know, not a studio. The studio will make their film. Take it easy, man. If you do another live stream, I'll jump back in. Thanks. I will take it easy now. I've talked enough. Sorry, I do tend to ramble sometimes. But yes, remember that, though. The fans are making this film. And I think people will be pretty amazed what the fans come up with. That's what I think. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next time. We will do another live stream. I actually really, really enjoyed this. Share it to your friends. We'll make an announcement on the next one soon and make an announcement on the contest coming up very soon as well. Thank you all. Have a wonderful Saturday afternoon.